Welcome back to the Archive Network. Aurelius here with Malik, curators of the Lineage Archive. We left House of Genghis Khan, Borjigin. Last time in the final days, only the last Borjigin Khans clung to their lands. Today we pick up where we left off. A dynasty forged in fire now faces a relentless unraveling. The blue banner of the Borjigin is fraying at the seams. By the late 13th century, the once mighty house of Genghis Khan had splintered into rival khanates. Each faction, once united under a single banner, now fights for dominance, often betraying their own kin. The bonds of loyalty are stretched thin, and ambition runs rampant. We see this time and again in history. Power breeds division and unity fades fast.
But it wasn't just ambition that drove them apart. Betrayal and outside threats played huge roles too. The very unity that once made the Borjigin invincible became their Achilles' heel. When the bonds of kinship start to feel like weapons, the fallout can be devastating. Families that once stood strong together began to fracture. Trust eroded, and every decision felt like a gamble. The personal toll was immense, leaving scars that would last for generations.
Take the Yuan dynasty in China, established by Kublai Khan. At its zenith, the Yuan court dazzled with opulence. Marble palaces and extravagant banquets proclaimed Mongol supremacy to all who entered. But beneath that glittering surface, unrest was brewing. The Mongol rulers grew isolated, leaning heavily on foreign advisors. This isolation created a rift where dissatisfaction festered among the very people they ruled. In the end, the grandeur could not mask the underlying tensions that threatened their hold on power.
Aurelius, relying on foreigners wasn't just a poor strategy. It felt like a betrayal to their own people. The Mongol rulers became distant from their subjects, and that distance bred resentment, especially among the Chinese elite. Heavy taxation piled up, and corruption only made things worse. People were struggling to get by, and that sparked a fierce resistance. This wasn't just a simple crack in their rule. It was a real fracture that threatened the very foundation of their authority.
The chaos wasn't confined to China. It rippled across the steppes, where the Ilkhanate in Persia and the Chagatai Khanate descended into turmoil. Once allies, rival Borjigin princes twisted their kinship into a weapon. Assassination became a tool of statecraft, a dark necessity. Fratricide was not just a tragedy. It was a calculated strategy, a way to eliminate threats and consolidate power. As we look back, we see how desperation drives these leaders to extremes.
This wasn't just a family feud. It was a catastrophic failure of leadership. The Golden Horde experienced brutal civil wars that ripped apart its unity. Khans rose and fell in quick succession, often driven by deceit and betrayal. Each leader had their dreams, their ambitions, but those hopes crumbled under the weight of conflict. Their stories became cautionary tales, highlighting the human cost of power struggles and reminding us that glory can quickly turn to tragedy.
And while they fought among themselves, the outside world closed in around them. In China, the Ming dynasty rose up, uniting the population against the Yuan. They pushed the Mongols out of their palaces, reclaiming what was theirs. Meanwhile, new powers like the Timurids and Ottomans were waiting in the wings, eager to seize the moment and fill the vacuum left by the Borjigin. History shows us that empires often fall to infighting, only to be replaced by those ready to take their place.
The Borjigin were losing not just their power, but also their very sense of self. Spiritual unity faded as the family drifted toward different beliefs. Some Mongolian branches embraced Tibetan Buddhism, while others found solace in Islam. This shift didn't just create new identities. It deepened the rifts between them. They were no longer a family bound by blood or shared faith. Instead, they became fragmented, each holding on to their own truths, while losing the connection that once tied them together.
Karakorum, the legendary capital built by Genghis Khan's successors, has faded into the annals of history. Its ruins stand as solemn witnesses to a once mighty empire. Yet, we can still find remnants of Borjigin influence scattered about. Coins, fortresses, and legal codes whisper echoes of their legacy. But these are merely fading footprints, shadows of a past glory, not signs of a resurgence. History reminds us that even the grandest of empires can dwindle, leaving behind only fragments for us to ponder.
And what of those stories of madness and decadence? Chroniclers from Persia to China, each with their own tales, recorded the tragic fates of the Khans. Isolation drove some to madness, their minds unraveling in solitude, while others were consumed by their own kin. These weren't just leaders. They were people too. The glory days felt like a distant memory, now overshadowed by betrayal and bloodshed. It's heartbreaking to think how power can twist even the closest bonds.
In the final days of their reign, only the last Borjigin Khans clung to their shrinking domains. Ligdan Khan, the very last of his line, fought a desperate battle to preserve his family's legacy against overwhelming odds. In 1634, he met his fate on the battlefield, and with him fell the blue banner, once a proud symbol of Genghis Khan's glory. Khan's glory. It marked a tragic end to a storied lineage that had once shaped vast empires and commanded respect across the steppes.
That symbolizes the collapse of a once mighty dynasty. But let's not forget, the consequences of their reign linger on in more ways than we realize. Their name still echoes in the ambitions of conquerors, and shapes the laws of nations today. The Borjigin may have fallen, but their legacy remains alive in the stories of those who lived under their rule, both the triumphs and the struggles. History isn't just about power. It's about people and the impact they leave behind.
The age of the Borjigin is coming to a close. Yet their story reminds us about the fragility of power and the deep consequences of internal strife. This saga of ambition and betrayal echoes through history, teaching us that alliances can crumble and loyalty is often fleeting. We often think ourselves invincible, but the mightiest can fall. It's a stark reminder that even the greatest legacies can unravel when discord takes root. We must learn from this.
That's where we leave it this time. House of Genghis Khan, Borjigin continues. The story isn't finished yet. Find the full series on the Lineage archive, part of the Archive Network. We'll be back with the next chapter.